Hey, it's your Katy Texas Realtor, and I want to talk to you about the seasonality of real estate. For us, particularly, it's very seasonal. It's very high and very low throughout the year. Particularly because suburbs in general, but ours specifically, is so tied to the school year, to the calendar year. A lot of us, a lot of you, a lot of my past clients have moved to the area just because of the schools. So it would make sense that a lot of times, oftentimes, we see some of the highest sales from starting from uh, spring break all the way up to early July, with a steep drop off at the middle of July and late July, because at that time you're starting to think, okay, we got to go buy school clothes, we got to buy supplies, we got to get ready, we got to everything that goes into preparing for a school year. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes we just have abnormally high numbers of people moving into the area for any other number of reasons. You could be moving into Katy and you could be working in the energy corridor. You could be moving into the Houston area but don't really want to be in Houston. You want to be in Katy, whatever the case is, right? So that's not, even though we have seasonality in the area, in the country as a whole, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't sell a home or buy a home during certain times of the year. But what it does mean is that there are better times to conduct a transaction to get the best results on both sides, either a buyer or a seller. So generally, if you want to sell, March through July will be the best time to get the best prices, generally, not always. After that, from all the way from August to December, you're typically going to see people that have come into the market during that peak time that couldn't sell, looking to make a deal. A lot of folks will, either, if they can, they'll wait and try again. But oftentimes we see people that are staying in the market. Uh, they'll they'll stay in the market. They're willing to make a deal. So those are good times to submit aggressive offers. I love wheeling and dealing for my buyers to get aggressive offers, because uh, I prefer to help you get better pricing than to just go run that race when everybody else is in it. And what I mean by that is, during the peak season, you have a lot of competition. And oftentimes you end up paying a bit more than you should, just because it's the perfect home, it's in the perfect neighborhood, and you're willing to do it. And that's fine. That's great. I'll never stop someone from buying their dream home or whatever they need. But I prefer that you pay less for it. So when we have less competition, that happens often. And then right now, January, February, March, beginning of March, where we're at, what I would want no one to participate, and just kind of keep an eye on what's the Fed doing, uh, what are the trends right now? Because if our trends right now during the slow season are higher than they were last year, and I don't believe that they are, as far as pricing and units sold, then that kind of gives me a prediction for what the peak season is going to do. If we have a higher than normal slow season, we're going to usually have a higher than normal peak season. I can tell you right now, we're not having a higher than normal slow season, but the peak season might see, and this might be unique to 2024, uh, might see two things. Number one, we have an election year, which a lot of people believe that because of that it's the best of times to jump into the market. Not always the case. And then number two, we have a lot of people that were frustrated by the end of 2023, where rates went all the way up and they were not able to participate. They might be jumping back in. So we might have an abnormally large amount of buyers. We're not sure yet. It might take them. I just had a conversation with one family that we've been working with since 2022, who anytime at the end of 2022, rates went up to 5%. No, they were just not 3% or 4%. It wasn't what they wanted, and they wanted to wait. I said, now's the time. It's not going to get better, and it doesn't get better. Prices continue to go up, rates are unpredictable, and they're still waiting. They're still waiting. There no amount of convincing is going to change their mind, and they're shopping in Sugarland, which is one of the more competitive areas, more competitive than Katy, because it's for the most part it's already built out. So you're competing for a very limited inventory. But that's the seasonality of it. There comes in cycles. Every single year, it's kind of the same. Not really, but we're keeping an eye on it. We're gonna see what this peak season brings, and I'll bring you an update on that. Next week, I want to talk about pricing, the pricing model, and why I think it's failing a lot of buyers and sellers. And we'll go from there. Thank you for watching.